It's time to put the good in your morning. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. Today, a Wisconsin teen brings the holiday cheer with a Christmas light-covered car.
I don't know if we could paint a more beautiful sunrise here on a mid-December day. Only thing we're going to worry about is the wind. We'll have the latest from the Skywatch Weather Center.
And a Tokyo company lets you stay comfy on Zoom calls. KOAM Morning News on Fox 14 starts now. Thanks for joining us on the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. More than 100 additional Joplin healthcare workers received the COVID-19 vaccine. Mercy Hospital vaccinated around 150 more employees yesterday, but it's been a long road to make that happen. Officials say they had been in contact with the state for several weeks about plans and had to rent an ultra-cold freezer to store the vaccines. Now they're focusing on employees who are the most at risk of getting the virus. Integris Hospital staff in Grove and Miami, Oklahoma also received their first round of the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine. Some physicians and staff members at the hospital received their vaccine yesterday. For these frontline heroes, it's a relief as they continue to fight the virus.
You know, this instills confidence in our staff. They do have confidence, and we do everything that we can for them with our personal protective equipment.
In a news release, Integris officials said employees were eager to install trust in the vaccine for the public. Oklahoma Governor Kevin Stitt moves teachers higher up on the vaccine priority list. Teachers will now receive their vaccinations during the second phase instead of the third. Governor Stitt said his goal is to return all schools to in-person classes in January. Frontline healthcare workers have already begun receiving the vaccine. Long-term care providers and residents, paramedics, emergency medical technicians, and pharmacy staff who will administer the vaccine in long-term care facilities will be vaccinated next. County College in Nevada, Missouri uses a new type of COVID-19 test. It's one of the 28 universities in Missouri to use the new Binax test. Over the last month, the Missouri Department of Higher Education and Workforce Development has been shipping thousands of test kits to colleges throughout the state. The Binax Now test is a rapid response test that lets users know almost immediately whether they've contracted the coronavirus.
The ability to turn a test result in 15 minutes as opposed to 2 or 3 days allows us to more quickly identify the people who actually have a positive case of COVID-19, and we need to be very aggressive in contact tracing.
Other colleges in our area that were given the Binax Now COVID-19 test kits include Missouri Southern State University and Ozark Christian College. The Newton County Health Department is reporting 4 more COVID-19 related deaths. Patients were 2 women in their 80s, a man in his 70s, and a man in his 60s. The county's COVID-19 death toll now stands at 61. Joplin's Spivas Center for the Arts is giving you a chance to pick up a gift for the art lover in your family. Spivas hosting its holiday bazaar in the upstairs gallery. You'll be able to find lots of handmade items from Joplin artists and artisans, all under $150.
We have so many different mediums in there right now, and a lot of them are just really interesting. So we have some encaustic, which is waxwork, and it's stunning. We have some really interesting glass pieces. We have jewelry and pottery. There's woodworking. There's a little bit of literally everything.
Spivas Center for the Arts is located at 222 West 3rd Street in Joplin. Pittsburgh Salvation Army could really use some help this holiday season. They've received less than 50% of their Red Kettle campaign fundraising goal. With just a week left, you probably know of at least one way to give: Salvation Army Red Kettles. This year, they've also gone virtual.
So people can give online, even if they're not getting out of their homes. We have virtual kettle online that they can give to. We have the scan codes on our kettle sites.
You can find links to give in this story on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Well, normally you drive around to see the Christmas lights, but One Wisconsin teen decorated his car so he could drive around as the light show. Took just $30 of lights to soup up his Camaro like this, even though it is illegal, which his dad, a retired cop, warned him. The teen was pulled over by a state trooper who took this photo and then gave him a warning. But the lights will stay on the car until Christmas because of the request to slowly drive by nursing homes and neighborhoods to bring a little joy. And that is the same law here in Kansas, I am aware.
No, I know it's like it comes from the heart and a place of goodwill and whatnot. I will say that I got a feeling that there was a buddy following him around because it appears that we have a picture of the state trooper pulling him over in a parking lot.
They knew it was going to happen, yeah.
Right, I think, yeah, that seemed a little set up.
I'm curious if the buddy was his father, the retired cop.
Like I said,
his ticket out of a ticket.
It's four staters, viewers of ours, people that we love and adore. Don't do that if it's illegal, please. We're not advocating that. We do not condone the use of lights on cars if it's illegal.
It is pretty sweet, though. And I like how he's driving by the nursing homes and bringing some cheer.
No, I understand. I need Trooper Wilson to come join us on that. I miss that guy. I tell you, look at this beautiful shot outside the mothership here. Just a gorgeous, gorgeous sunrise on this Friday morning. This is a live look outside of Television City. That's what we get to be blessed with today. I do want to go back and check out Old Glory right there, because we're going to talk a lot today about the wind and the factor that it's going to play. Mostly cloudy skies, but of course that provides for just the gorgeous colors that we're seeing. From the Freeman Health System sky camera in Joplin, you know, the good thing about that wind coming in from the south, these temperatures much more manageable than what we saw earlier in the week. You have to remember, we had wind chills as low as 12 just a couple of days ago. So at least we're sitting like it feels like it's 33 in the temperature in Joplin at 40. No complaints about that. 41 in Pittsburgh. Let's go 36 in Neosho, 37 in Miami. And look at this, pair of 40s out here. Look, Nevada already chiming in at 41. That's not too bad. So I know a lot of kids got one more day of school. Some of you have a half day before the Christmas vacation, and really not a whole lot of worries other than the wind. Sunrise officially here at 7:27, but already providing just beautiful, beautiful colors. Wind tracker is going to increase throughout the course of the day because our color codes indicate the intensity right there. And once you get into the yellow, that's when we're talking about 20 to 30 miles per hour. That blue is going to be about 15 to 20, 10 to 20. But everything out here is going to continue to move this way. And so we're going to have a very gusty and blustery afternoon. We'll dive into the national picture here in just a little bit. Let's wrap up our Friday day planner as we'll be able to make it up into the 50s, even with the cloudy skies, and that's thanks to that south wind. Now we know developing late tonight, we're going to see a little light rain that's going to come in from the south. It's certainly not going to be widespread. Like I said, it's going to be very light, just almost a little streak of it that rolls through and done with that by the time we get to mid-Saturday morning. And it's going to be a little bit chilly. Hey, we'll get a little sunshine here Saturday afternoon after the cloud cover and the rain kind of move through. Sunday not looking too bad. And then look, this is amazing. The first day of winter, we're looking at temperatures in the 60s for the first day of winter and then the first full day of winter. Tanya?
Coming up next, the pandemic has changed the holiday season for all of us this year, and caregivers are especially feeling that impact. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on FOX 14. The coronavirus pandemic is expected to create a baby boom in the United States. Roughly 9 months since the pandemic began, the Brookings Institute projects standing by an earlier projection that there would be significantly fewer babies born this winter and in 2021 compared to the prior year. Now, a report from the Institute projects a drop of about 300,000 births in the U.S. next year. Well, a new study finds more Americans are wearing masks, and that's according to a survey released Friday by the Kaiser Foundation. Among the findings, 73% of those questioned say facial coverings are part of everyone's responsibility to protect the health of others. 23% said mask wearing is a personal choice. As for the COVID-19 pandemic, 51% believe the worst is yet to come, while roughly 25% say the worst has already passed by. Well, the pandemic has changed the holiday season for all of us this year, and caregivers are especially feeling that impact. Naomi Ruckham has more on what families can do to still make this time of year special.
She's suffering from some dementia, but she's still a happy, sweet, lovely person.
Marjorie Connor is a caregiver for her 93-year-old mom while also working full-time.
How has the pandemic impacted your state of well-being?
I'm in a constant state of stress, that's for sure. I'm constantly worried about the people in my household remaining safe and healthy.
A new AARP survey shows 44% of caregivers say the pandemic has had a negative impact on their mental health.
Their care recipients are also having a negative impact on their mental health. So they're facing that challenge of being isolated and having more isolation.
Amy Goyer with AARP says the holidays add a lot of pressure. 77% of caregivers say the pandemic will affect their plans. For Marjorie, that means not seeing a lot of family.
Thinking we're going to put the dining room table on the front porch and seat everybody really far apart.
AARP suggests talking with loved ones about doing phone calls or video chats or sending greeting cards.
Focus on what is most meaningful for the holidays, adapt your traditions, and create new traditions.
I inherited all of Mom's decorations, and we put up our blow-up dogs out front, and we watch Christmas movies with Mom.
Marjorie says a thoughtful friend just sent her a gift certificate to order dinner.
If you have friends who are caregiving and they have a front porch or a back porch, go over and have a glass of wine with them, or a cup of tea, or coffee or something. Just don't let caretakers get isolated, because we do.
She's grateful she has a great support system. Naomi Rockham, CBS News.
It's estimated that 1 in 5 Americans are family caregivers in the United States. An apparel company in Tokyo makes professional-looking suits made from pajama fabric. I like this. The suits come in navy, beige, black, and dark gray and are available for both men and women. Parts of the suits are sold as separate pieces. Jackets are knit cardigans and can be paired with any of the pants, which have elastic waistbands. All items in the collection cost about $48, just under 5,000 yen in Japan. Businesses all around the world are trying to adapt after having trouble selling business suits, with millions working from home.
Hang on, you're gonna laugh at me for what I was doing right there. I was cutting a string off of my tie while you're talking about suits. And I happened to look down and I'm like, that blasted thing's falling apart right there. So that's what I was fixing. I hear you talking about tailored suits and whatnot. And I'm like, well, I'm not exactly put together now this morning, am I?
But I'm pretty sure your suit that you're wearing is not made from pajama material.
You don't know that. You don't know that at all.
I do not, actually.
And now, the weather.
Okay.
Weather almanac for this December 18th. We're actually going to be above average for our temperatures. It's been a while since we've been able to say that we'll consistently be there, but it's actually not going to be too bad all the way until the second day of winter in the middle of next week. There's our record low. Not too long ago, just 4 years ago. What a gorgeous, gorgeous shot outside of Television City that we've been blessed with on this Friday morning. And that's going to be our key factor for today, the fact that that wind is just going to barrel in from the south. Mostly cloudy, but once again, if it's going to be mostly cloudy and it's going to look like that in the middle of December, who can really complain? The wind is going to, increase, because everything that we're seeing out here with the more intense numbers is going to move from west to east over us. We'll see some 40-mile-an-hour gusts here later this afternoon. Same point in time, helps us out temperature-wise. 40 degrees from the Freeman Health System sky camera right now. Does put a little chill in the air, only feels like it's 33. 41 in Pittsburgh and Nevada, 33 in Monette, and let's roll 40s in both Independence and Neodesha. For the bus stop forecast, I think winds are really the only problem as the kids get ready to wrap up that first semester and prepare for a nice holiday vacation all the way up into the mid-40s there by the 9 o'clock hour. They still have winter weather advisories for the mid-Atlantic and the East Coast. That's because that snow hasn't gone anywhere and their travel conditions are still just miserable. So while they're not seeing the precipitation, they still do have dangerous conditions as far as their holiday travel goes so far. We'll go mid-50s. Like I said, it's just going to be blustery as all get out. Now, overnight, late tonight, don't let it change any of your plans. Late tonight into early Saturday morning, a little rain develops down there in the southwest, a little streak right through, so it's not going to be widespread, certainly not going to be anything severe. Eventually, little sunshine on Saturday afternoon. Sunday, 50, but partly sunny. And like I said, we're talking about the first day of winter being 60, the first full day of winter being up to 65. Then we got cold front moving in Wednesday and Thursday. Be here just in time for Christmas. Be back with more KOAM Morning News on Fox 14 right after this. Coming up on Sunday, Garth Brooks and Trisha Yearwood celebrating the holiday season. They've got a live concert. Danye Bacchus spoke with the couple about what we can expect and how they're hoping that this music is going to inspire hope.
Garth Brooks and Trisha Yearwood have been making music together for decades, and they're hoping this year their music has the power to heal.
Everybody's tired of COVID. Everybody wants to be done with it, but we're not done. So our job is to say, here's how we can be together and be apart. Stay diligent, stay at home.
The country music power couple is hosting a live holiday special on CBS from their home recording studio. With no set list, they are taking requests through the social media hashtag Garth and Trisha Live.
Getting some participation, you're accepting requests from people who want to hear certain songs. How are you guys navigating all of that?
We're not. We have no idea what we're doing. We have a rough list of about 15,000.
I have they say in that space you can do somewhere between 12, 15 songs. I have 12 or 15 Trisha Yearwood songs I'm going to ask her to do.
Even though this year the holidays will not be the same, they're focusing on the positive.
Are there any traditions that you're looking forward to celebrating, and maybe any new ones that you're going to be incorporating, because this holiday is going to look a little different?
The biggest thing we've done differently this year is decorate every square inch of the inside and outside of the house. I'm usually pretty subtle about decorating, but the house looks like a landing strip for an airplane.
And they're hoping their concert special will help keep the holiday spirit alive.
We're going to try to give you some an hour to escape and have a little joy and get out of what's happening in the world right now.
Danye Bacchus, CBS News, Los Angeles.
And that holiday concert event airs Sunday night. And I guess you can still put in a song request. Use the hashtag on social media. Hashtag Garth and Trisha Live. Now, we're going to roll some of your Facebook comments in here in just a little bit. And remember, there's always our morning Insta poll. Our question this morning, do you like Christmas music? 79% saying you love it. 7% saying you hate it. And 14% just saying, there's some songs that I like. You can take part. Go to KOAMnewsnow.com/vote. We'll be right back after this.
More than 100 more healthcare workers in Joplin received the COVID-19 vaccine. Mercy Hospital received its initial shipment of Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine on Tuesday. Between then and yesterday, they had vaccinated around 50 employees. Now they're ramping it up. KOAM's Zach Dodge has the details.
There was a lot of excitement and newfound feelings of hope this morning as surgeons, pediatricians, and paramedics rolled up their sleeves for that first long-awaited dose. William Bolus, a paramedic and ER doctor, was the first today to get that dose.
No, it's kind of the first of the first, but I say it's a positive thing until proven otherwise.
Everyone that comes through the door is just, we see hope. We're really ready.
Mercy is one of only 20 healthcare providers in Missouri to be part of the state's initial distribution, receiving around 1,900 doses directly from Pfizer just days after the FDA gave the vaccine emergency approval.
It's been weeks of planning that's taken place to really be able to bring this to fruition.
In preparation, the hospital had to rent an ultra-cold freezer capable of storing the vaccines that require sub-zero temps and arrive in a bed of dry ice.
When we do place it in our ultra cold freezer, we do have 6 months to be able to utilize that, but we're hoping to use it much sooner than that. Usually within 10 days is our plan.
Once they're ready to give it, they just have to worry about timing, since the vaccine is only good for a certain amount of time after it's thawed. Otherwise, though, it's a lot like a flu shot. So understanding the work that went into this moment just makes the occasion even more excited.
There's been a lot of work effort up to this point, so being able to get that many of our coworkers here and vaccinated has been a blessing.
The hospital will receive their second shipment within a few weeks so they can give the second doses of the vaccine to those workers. Reporting in Joplin, Zach Dodge, KOAM News.
More than 200 healthcare workers at Mercy have now received the initial dose of the vaccine. The hospital says it hasn't had any reports of serious adverse reactions. It's time now to honor today's four-state hero, Ralph Hetty, a corporal in the United States Army. He served in Korea from 1952 to 1954. Native of Erie, Kansas, we salute you, Ralph Hetty, our four-state hero. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. It's currently 7:30. Let's take a look at today's top stories. Integris hospital staff in Grove in Miami, Oklahoma also received their first round of the Pfizer COVID vaccine. Some physicians and staff members at the hospital received their vaccine yesterday. For these frontline heroes, it's a relief as they continue to fight the virus. Oklahoma Governor Kevin Stitt moves teachers higher up on the vaccine priority list. Teachers will now receive their vaccinations during the second phase instead of the third. Governor Stitt said his goal is to return all schools to in-person classes in January. Frontline healthcare workers have already begun receiving the vaccine. Long-term care providers and residents, paramedics, emergency medical technicians, and pharmacy staff who will administer the vaccine in long-term care facilities will be vaccinated next. Cotty College in Nevada, Missouri uses a new type of COVID-19 test. It's one of the 28 universities in Missouri to use the new Binex test. Over the last month, the Missouri Department of Higher Education and Workforce Development has been shipping thousands of test kits to colleges throughout the state. The Binex Now test is a rapid response test that lets users know almost immediately whether they've contracted the coronavirus. Joplin Spiva Center for the Arts is giving you a chance to pick up a gift for the art lover in your family. Spiva is hosting its holiday bazaar in the upstairs gallery. You'll be able to find lots of handmade items from Joplin artists and artisans, all under $150. Well, John Burke, also known as the Naked Cowboy, was out in Times Square on Thursday, braving the frigid temperatures and snow. Upstate New York was buried in the season's first significant snowstorm. There he is there. In Binghamton, nearly 40 inches was reported. In Broome County, reports of more than 3 feet of snow. His underwear says Naked Cowboy. Snowfall setting a new 2-day snowfall record, and that's according to the National Weather Service. I'm going to let Michael continue to talk about the weather while we all take a look at the video.
Have you ever seen him perform?
Just videos.
Yeah, it's something else to be down there on Times Square and actually watch him in person. And just a very interesting gentleman that I've heard interviewed. I've actually had a chance to see him live. And yeah, rain or shine.
How does he handle that cold weather, though? I mean, wow.
It's a great question because you look at him and you honestly go, why? He loves people and he loves to perform. And this is what I know from actually listening to interviews with him. It's not, he's not, I know you want to be like, is there something wrong with, no, he loves people and he loves what he does. He's been doing this for years.
Well, okay.
Tanya, I saw him like when I was in my 20s.
Okay, so I could see like when you're performing, you have a lot of adrenaline, like you work up a sweat, basically. You can keep your body warm that way. But what about your fingers and stuff, trying to play the guitar, hit those notes?
Very talented musician,
yeah.
by the way. He plays actually several instruments.
Oh.
Yeah. So yeah, if you ever have a chance to hear an interview with him, folks, it's well worth the time. Or if you're ever in Times Square.
She's about to grab his butt again. One more time.
It's an opportunity. We all see a video of him.
Wait for it. There it is. All right, Michael, your turn.
Boy, you set me up on that one, didn't you? That was well played, my friend, well played. So we've been talking so much about the winter storm throughout the Northeast, and while the radar doesn't look impressive right now, we need to point out that the fact that they've got so much snow, you remember, 3 to 5 feet in northern Pennsylvania up through central New York, that hazardous driving conditions, those are going to persist for a number of days. Here in the 4 states, we've got a wind advisory that has now been extended throughout southeast Kansas. No surprise on that. I was a little surprised that it actually didn't originate this morning with mostly cloudy skies. Our 7-day forecast is going to be delightful. The only thing that we need to worry about are high winds today, especially if you're traveling east-west, because that wind is going to come in from the south. We'll experience gusts 40 miles per hour. High-profile vehicles, be very wary of that today. We're not fooling around with this wind. Now, late tonight, early Saturday morning, light rain, Mostly cloudy to start our Saturday. It rains done by mid-morning. Then we clear off, get a little sunshine. Chilly on Sunday, but look at this. The winter solstice on Monday and in the 60s, and then 65 on Tuesday. As we transition toward Christmas right here, cold front moves in just in time for Christmas Eve, but hopefully we can get rid of that precip right there and make our travel conditions pretty good for not only Thursday, but Friday as well. We'll be back with more KOAM Morning News on Fox 14 right after this. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. Now, we've been leading up to Christmas with what we call Notes to the North Pole. And it's great to hear what all the 4-state kiddos may have on that wish list just in time for Christmas. And so what we were able to do, thanks in part to our friends at the Christmas shop, is actually bring in a special guest. That's right, we were able to convince him to get out of the workshop and join us on the KOAM Morning News direct from the North Pole for the second straight day. Santa, Mr. Claus, I want to thank you for your time this morning.
You're welcome, Michael. I'm glad I could come back.
Now, I know you've got a list from a couple of kiddos, but before we get there, I've actually got questions. They've got wish lists. I do my part as a journalist. I ask questions. Do you have time for that?
Yes, I do. Go right ahead.
Well, I got a question from Matthew. Matthew in Pittsburgh. And I never thought about this. Thank goodness Matthew's really a forethinker. You know, not every house has a chimney, like Santa Claus. I don't have a fireplace in my house. Question is, how do you get into houses without chimneys?
I can't give away all my secrets. Let's just say that it's Christmas magic that I use when I get to the houses that don't have a fireplace.
I completely understand trade secrets being kept close to the vest. I got a question for you, Santa, as far as the reindeer go. Kiddos love the reindeer, right? Well, Hayden, she asks, how fast do reindeer fly?
My reindeer are a little special. I think most reindeer can fly, about 50 miles an hour. Yeah, but we have a special food that we feed the reindeer that pull the sleigh, and they can fly about 650 miles per second.
Wait, did you just say 650 miles, not per hour, you said per second?
Per second. That's about 3,000 times the speed of sound.
Hey, I know you got to get back to the workshop, but once again, I'm gonna beg you for just a little time. Do we have time to run through some Christmas lists?
Sure.
Well, I tell you what, Hayden just asked that last question about the reindeer, so I'll give Hayden the floor here. I think she's in Pittsburgh. Did she let you know what's on her wish list?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. It was kind of a short list, but anyway, Hayden is wanting a iPhone 12, iPad, and a dirt bike.
I like the fact that Hayden went high tech, but then also said, I can go old school. Hey, I got another one for you, Santa. We got Matthew in Pittsburgh. He actually started off our question segment, and I understand you have his list as well.
I sure do. I sure do. This year, Matthew is wanting an Xbox, a Stickbot 3, a remote control helicopter.
A remote control helicopter?
Yeah, those are so fun.
That's pretty cool. Hey, can we run out to Carl Junction really fast?
Sure.
I understand Dempsey sent you a letter as well.
Yes, he did. He sent me a letter with his wish list, and he's wanting Mario Legos and games.
Hey, games are hard to beat, my friend Dempsey. I know you got to get back to the workshop. Once again, will you please tell Mrs. Claus a hello from all of us down here south, and also too, thank you so much for your time this morning. Any chance that we can continue this on as we head toward Christmas?
Sure, I've got plenty of time tomorrow if you want to give me a holler.
We will see you next time we do Notes from the North Pole, and we will have more KOAM morning news for you right after this. In a holiday season like no other in recent memory, Christmas trees are taking on some new mementos of 2020. Nancy Chen shows us how pandemic-themed ornaments are flying off of shelves.
Paul's looks a little different.
A little Santa with a mask on it, Merry Christmas.
Pandemic-themed Christmas tree ornaments are among the season's most popular buys.
This one right here, it's kind of like a Yelp review for 2020. Half a star, would not recommend.
Emergency room doctor Katrina Green has 10 on her Nashville tree. and more on the way.
I thought, why not just play around with it?
This is our 2020 dumpster fire ornament that we created.
Kelly Barra's novelty goods warehouse is in overdrive as her Texas team works on 35,000 now sold out pandemic ornaments.
It's a family with face masks, and then we've got 2020 right here. And so this is, I guess, representative of the COVID virus, toilet paper, and then hand sanitizer.
Ornaments often remind us of past adventures or milestone events, but in 2020, they also might commemorate some unusual shared experiences.
Have you been surprised by all of this?
Yes.
OrnamentShop.com co-owner Wayne Dulesky says he's never seen a concentrated demand like this. The Ohio-based retailer has about 6,000 personalized ornaments to choose from, and a quarter of his sales in recent weeks have been pandemic-related.
If you want to have some lighthearted nature to your existence about what's been going on, it's a way to do that in a small way.
Decorators trimming their trees with a nod to these unusual times. Nancy Chen, CBS News, New York.
If you're one of those families that maybe collects an ornament every single year, with a date on it and decorates a tree with it, it'll be interesting to explain to the little ones as they get older and they look back at that 2020 ornament and say, what exactly is that about? Now, ornament vendors say hopefully these tokens hope people look back on some better times as well. Average American spends about $1,800 on gifts during the holiday season. Now, meanwhile, the Retail Federation said in October consumers were planning on spending an average of about $1,000 on gifts and seasonal purchases. So you got about an $800 gap right there. Surveys found Americans will likely shop more online in 2020. That's certainly no surprise. You got the COVID-19 lockdown and the aversion to shopping in persons as certain areas continue to spike. Mortgage rates dropped to another record low last week. That's the 15th time this year we've said that. Mortgage giant Freddie Mac says the average interest rate on a 30-year fixed dropped to 2.67%. Lowest level in the history of the survey. That dates back about 50 years. This comes as the Federal Reserve says it would hold interest rates near zero. The chief economist at Realtor.com says soaring buyer demand is keeping home sales at their highest pace in more than 15 years. We'll be back with more KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. Take a look at our 7-day forecast right after this. Kids may be wrapping up the final day of the first semester, getting ready for the holiday break. And so as we look for fun things to do at home during the holidays, it's sometimes easy to forget, and us as parents, how small everyday household items can provide hours of entertainment. That's where we bring in our own Jesse Irwin, who stopped by Pittsco Education, caught up with a good friend of the show, Alan Kirby, and his son to learn about a series of easy STEM-based activities for all the kids to try at home.
Well, we are at Pittsco this morning here in Pittsburgh, and we are joined by Alan and Lucas, and you guys are showing us how to make a catapult, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, why are we making a catapult? What is it teaching us about?
Mostly about physics and the force and which way it shoots.
So how to use the force.
Yes.
All right. Go right ahead.
So what we have here is a simple designed catapult where if you get a sample of this and you make it into a ball, then what you can do is make it a little ball and then it'll shoot.
That's effective. Now, we have how many ingredients to using the force of the catapult? We've got popsicle sticks,
rubber bands, and a plastic.
A bottle cap?
Yeah.
And then you're just using tinfoil to shoot these?
Yeah.
Okay. So these are all things that you can find in the grocery store, around the house.
Yeah.
Pittsco has these. I mean, this is very accessible material.
And one more thing, a glue strip.
A glue strip? Okay, got it.
To keep the bottle cap on.
All right. Alan, Lucas, teach me how to make this thing.
What you do is you stack 6 of these popsicle sticks on, and then when you're done, you put rubber bands, and you just keep on putting them around and around. Then you grab more popsicle sticks, and then you put them in the middle. You put them right through.
All right, did I do this right?
Yes.
Okay.
You grab the glue strip and then you put it on right here. And then you grab the bottle cap and then you put it on the glue strip. But you leave a little space where you can put your finger on.
Oh.
And then once you do it, you grab some tin foil and you make it into a ball.
Did you have them? Did you?
Now, one of the things you can do is try different masses of projectiles to create a different parabolic path or an arc, a trajectory of the projectile.
All right, well,
And
without further ado, that's pretty good. All right. I noticed that yours went farther.
Probably because mine was smaller.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Thanks for showing us these.
You're
try
welcome.
This one more time, Rin. I need practice.
Special thanks to the Kirbys right there, Alan and Lucas. I think my favorite part is personally knowing Alan and knowing just how intelligent he is and what Lucas has learned from him is that Lucas ran that interview right there. That was his show, folks. Lucas, great job by you, my man. Live look outside of Television City, mostly cloudy skies, but still gorgeous colors. And the wind, I tell you what, we're going to see that flag just stand up on the side all day long. Going to be one of those days because we've got high wind advisories all the way until 2 o'clock this afternoon. I'm a little surprised that the National Weather Service let those expire that early because the wind's going to stay with us through the afternoon for our counties throughout southeast Kansas. And even if your county is not indicated in that wind advisory in the tan area, please know it's going to be extremely blustery because you'll watch the intensity of the wind migrate from west to east right there. And so we're still awaiting the 20 to 30 mile an hour variety for later this afternoon with gusts up to 40 miles per hour. From the Freeman Health System Sky Camera in Joplin, 40 degrees, wind chill of 33. So yeah, it takes a little bit out of the actual temperature right there. But comparatively speaking to where we were earlier this week, certainly not too bad. 41 in Pittsburgh, let's go 39 in Miami and roll 33, a little bit cooler out here on the eastern edge of southwest Missouri, where Monette and Cassville are right just about at the freezing mark compared to the 40s that we're seeing in Parsons and Oswego. National perspective, while the snow system may not show up on the radar right there, it's the snow on the ground, hazardous driving conditions throughout the mid-Atlantic up to the northeast from the winter storm that they incurred from Wednesday into Thursday. Backside of that, you can see the warmer temperatures on the color contour, meaning we're going to be above average. We'll actually make it up into the mid-50s here later on this afternoon. As far as future track, let me get out of the way here because it'll originate down to the southwest of us late tonight into early Saturday morning. And when you get that light green like that, we're talking about a very light rain. It's certainly not widespread. It's nothing severe, almost just kind of sprints right through and then drops off. The heavier rain going to stay down to the south right there and then make its way across the Mississippi. So Saturday before sunset, we'll actually get just a little sunshine. It's going to be a little bit chilly there over the weekend, 47 on Saturday, 50 on Sunday. Now remember, Monday happens to be the winter solstice, first day of winter, or Tuesday, the first full day of winter, and we're into the 60s. That's something else. As I know a lot of you are probably going to travel on Wednesday or Thursday and Friday. So Wednesday is really what we'll keep our eyes on because we're going to get a cold front. Try to get that rain out of the way before it turns over to the wintry mix. Thursday is going to be chilly for Christmas Eve. And Christmas Day, not too bad. It's going to be cool in the 40s, but looking pretty dry right now. We'll be back, wrap up this edition of the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14 right after this.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. Here's what's happening today. FDA Commissioner Stephen Hahn says the agency will work rapidly to approve emergency use of Moderna's coronavirus vaccine. That's after an advisory panel of doctors and scientists voted Thursday to recommend approval of the vaccine. It would join Pfizer in the nation's war against COVID-19. Well, some 7 months after Congress passed its last COVID spending package, lawmakers are said to be nearing agreement on a new relief bill. A roughly $908 billion measure would put money in most Americans' pockets in the form of a stimulus check of up to $700. Well, President-elect Joe Biden will nominate New Mexico Representative Deb Haaland as Interior Secretary. If confirmed in the Senate, Haaland would be the first Native American cabinet member in U.S. history. Let's check in with Michael with a final look at your forecast.
Mostly cloudy skies today. South wind will gust up to 40 miles an hour. Makes it a little bit warmer, though, than what we've had the last couple of days as we managed to stay in the 50s. Now, overnight, got a chance for light rain to work in from the south. Done with it by mid-morning on Saturday. Yeah, wait till about Saturday, late afternoon, evening. Get a little peek of sunshine even. Still going to be cool though. On Saturday, on Sunday, not too far off from what we'd anticipate for the middle of December though, as we head toward the Christmas weekend. Remember, before we get to Christmas, first day of winter happens to be on Monday, and you know, it's the 4 states. Why not? Let's just throw up 60s on Monday and Tuesday before the cold front arrives just before Christmas Eve. I want to thank you all so much for letting us put the good in your morning. We'll be back with more news and weather when we see you at noon.
Have a great morning, an awesome weekend, and an even better day today.
Are you one of the millions